not the asshole. As a chef and restaurant owner, I applaud this sort of thinking and wish more people would consider it for casual dining. There are no-to-go boxes that are really quality, all too expensive to use, so this is a great fix for everyone. Your friend has their own insecurities that have nothing to do with you. Seriously, that's a good idea to BYO to-go container. Saves you money and less waste. If I had a restaurant, I'd probably offer a 69-cent discount for bringing your own container. Also, the food is traveling much more securely in a sealed container versus the standard styrofoam or flimsy cardboard. Also, don't have to transfer it to another container when you get home. In this economy, not the asshole. Some folks never grew up poor and it shows. Good point. I grew up poor and was shocked when my friends didn't take their leftovers home, and sometimes they would only take a few bites, leaving the meal almost untouched. Who cares what container the leftovers are put into? Damn straight. I grew up poor and rural, and we produced our own food. Throwing out perfectly good food that I didn't have to cook? Not gonna happen. Ha ha ha, when I met my now husband's grandfather, we went out to eat at a diner. I didn't finish my plate and asked for a to-go box. He looked at me in shock. Are you poor? He was horrified that I wasn't planning on just leaving the food on the table. Well, sir, yes, I am, in fact poor. I was 23 years old, and 23-year-olds are not historically flush with cash. But more importantly, I enjoy not having to cook later when there are leftovers to be eaten. And why would I want to intentionally waste food?
Update: Am I the asshole for bringing Tupperware to a restaurant? Hey there. First, I want to thank you for all the responses in my original post. I really appreciate it. For the update, the day after my original post, I reached out to my friend and asked if she has time the next few days. We meet today for a nice long stroll in the park. The beginning was kind of awkward, because we never had a fight before. Normally it's also not a problem when life is busy and we don't write for a few days or even weeks, but today it somehow feels strange. I'm not a fan of beating around the bush, so I simply asked her, so, in that burger place, what exactly triggered you? Honestly, it was like poking a water balloon. She apologized for everything and how afraid she was I might be still mad at her, and apologized some more. Then she explained to me what her trigger was. What can I say, we all were kind of wrong. You guys, it's her aunt. She has an aunt who will always bring a few boxes for family gatherings. But instead of waiting until everyone is done and the food is back in the kitchen, which is fine, she sometimes fills the boxes before it goes to the table. Because my friend's grandma knows of this behavior, she started to cook even more, but the aunt just brought more boxes as well. But that's not all. Said aunt will also bring boxes to restaurants, and if they order different meals, so everyone can have a try from all the plates, she's like, "Noon wants that anymore, right?" and packs, while people are still eating. My friend is a slow eater, so often her aunt filled her boxes before she could try everything she wanted. I always wanted to use the word flabbergasted in a post. I think this is the right time. I was definitely flabbergasted. How impudent can a person be? I asked why Noon is saying anything about it, but they are all just too tired to deal with her outbreaks. It's easier to say nothing. I felt that. So yeah, she knew it was my food and everything, but it also triggered her real bad. I apologized as well for not warning her, but she said it was totally her fault. I said, I will make sure the next time, but she was like, no, it's a nice way to work on it. Well, in the end we had a really nice stroll, talked about different things, and everything is good. I'm really glad that we cleared that out though. Thank you for reading this. Have a great day and a nice week. Comments.
I'm glad that the two of you could talk. Always great to see two people working things out like adults. I'm so glad you both acted like adults. My God, her aunt sounds like absolute trash. I would have banned her from bringing it, and if she brought it again, thrown it out. Right. How absolutely disrespectful towards anybody else. But I don't know her personally, so I don't know how hefty those outbreaks are. Some people can going feral. Food hoarding is a serious mental illness. I assume they just don't have the tools to intervene. Agree. My first thought was the aunt's house. It could be a major health hazard. I've told this story before, so I'll paste it here. A friend of the family was telling us over dinner once about his own family's habit of bringing Tupperware to any family event where food would be served. He said by the time he was an adult, everyone was filling to-go containers with food before the meal was even served. He got so sick of having to make so much extra food, so there'd be enough left for the actual meal, that he finally snapped and told everyone he was only going to make enough for one meal from then on. Of course, no one believed him, so the next meal, everyone came and loaded up their Tupperware beforehand. When dinner time came around, he put out the now empty serving dishes, and everyone lost their minds demanding to know where the food was. He reminded them again that he had only cooked enough for one meal, and if they were hungry, they would have to figure out where the food went. This led to a huge fight where everyone was yelling and screaming at each other, hurling accusations and denials, with half the people demanding the food be brought out and divvied up, while the other half defended the theft and tried to hide their pilfered goods. There was nearly a brawl in the driveway. Everyone had been forced to return what they'd taken, but his auntie was accused of holding out. Someone grabbed her keys, and she went nuts trying to keep people away from her car. Lo and behold, there were 4 big Tupperwares full of food stashed in her trunk. My jaw was on the ground picturing grown-ass adults snatching purses and wrestling away car keys all over freaking food. Whoa, what an absurd behavior. I mean, my grandma always told us to bring boxes for the leftovers, especially to the ones who live alone, like myself. And when everything was back in the kitchen, I could pack whatever I wanted. But it was after everyone was done, not before. This family sounds so exhausting.
Am I the asshole for getting an extra order of fries for my girlfriend? I feel like I'm going absolutely crazy for this being an argument, and I need someone objective to tell me if I fucked up. My girlfriend is a French fry bandit. She always takes half of my French fries without fail. When we go out and I get a burger with fries, I already know half are going to her. My issue is that French fries are one of my favorite foods because I have the palate of a child. I always get myself a side of fries, and I always ask my girlfriend if she wants fries as well. It's always a no, but once they show up, half go to her. So recently we were out for dinner and I wanted steak frites, she wanted a salad. I was hungry and admittedly had a bad day and was grouchy, and I asked her if she also wanted fries with her salad. She said no. So when the server came, I ordered for us, and I ordered my steak frites, and a salad for her and an extra side of fries. She said that she didn't want fries. I said that I wanted extra fries, so we pushed on. When the server dropped off the food, I immediately pushed the extra fries to her. She was upset. She said she didn't want them. Then I said I'd have them. As we got in the car, she told me that I was being a dick and ordering fries for her when she said she didn't want them. Was incredibly condescending of me to assume I know what she wants. The kicker is, she ate the extra fries. She wanted the extra fries. I ate my fries and she ate pretty much the entire side, even though I was planning on eating them. She's been with me for a year. Of course I know she's gonna eat the fries. She does it every time. She's been pissed about it since, and I feel like I'm taking crazy pills on why I'm the asshole here. Comments.
Eating disorder type behavior. If she didn't order it, or didn't eat the whole serving, then it doesn't count. It's bullshit, and she needs to own up to being a French fry thief. Yup, I was going to mention it sounds like eating disorder behavior. I'm glad I'm not the only one who saw that. So very much, it's all psychological, hence the extreme reaction. He was forcing her to confront her own disorder. My spouse had ED for many years. This is definitely ED behavior. He could have handled it better, to be honest, but she needs therapy to deal with this long term. How? She is taking food he is ordering to eat himself. He repeatedly asks if she wants her own because she is taking food off him and insisting he is not allowed to eat the food he wants. All he did was refuse to allow his food to be stolen. If she does not want to address her ED, then that is on her, but he should not have to accept that his food will be repeatedly stolen by his girlfriend when he is trying to eat. That is disrespectful to him. Not the asshole. I don't know if she thinks it's cute, but it's clearly dysfunctional. She needs to be honest about what she wants and, at the bare minimum, not attack you for being realistic about the amount of food you're both ordering. On a more compassionate note, it sounds like she might have an eating disorder or, at the very least, a bad relationship with food. You may want to have fake conversation with her. This 100%. Be clear with her. From now on you will give her the opportunity to choose if she wants fries. If she says no, she will get 1 to 2 of your fries and a no more. You will say a no as many times as necessary and remind her that she had the chance to order her own. If she wants fries, then it's time to be a big girl and order her own.
Am I the asshole for refusing to appear in apology video? A week ago a neighbor, 16, unintentionally scratched my car with her bike. She immediately stopped, started crying, and called her mother for assistance. Scratch appeared worse than it actually was, and in store, it was simply polished away for a SAML amount. Since it was an accident and a very minor one, I didn't charge the girl or her mom. When she apologized, I told her it was alright and advised her to be extra cautious next time, especially around cars. A few days later, her mother wrote that her daughter still feels a bit bad and wishes to offer more sincere apology. I wrote that everything is good and I don't have any problems with them. She said they would only deliver a cake as a small act of peace. I agreed and thought okay, that would be sweet. When they arrived, girl was holding a cake box in her hands and her mother had a phone. The girl began muttering about taking responsibility and putting things right, but it appeared as though she wanted the earth to engulf her. Then her mom quietly said, "Now give him the cake and ask if he accepts your apology." I looked at her again and asked if this was being filmed. Her mother said that she wanted to make a video as it serves as an excellent illustration of how young people can take responsibility for their actions. She said she could hide my face, but she needed to video me accepting apology from her daughter. I took the cake and told the girl that everything was okay between us and that I had already accepted her apology that day. Then I turned to her mom and said I didn't want to be part of the video. She started arguing with me, said that I could have just let her finish properly, but in the end I just went home. Girl mom is upset with me now and doesn't even say hello when she sees me. For the sake of good neighbor relations, perhaps I could have waited 30 seconds. But I don't like how a simple apology was transformed into a scene. Girl seemed really uncomfortable. I was filmed without my permission and I might have looked after it was published as someone who demands apologies from kids. Am I the asshole? Comments.
So not the asshole. That's really creepy. And bad parenting. That girl looked really sad and embarrassed. She was forced to do it, no doubt. Parents using children as props for social media should be outlawed. Not the asshole. Girl mom no longer talks to me. I love it when problems solve themselves. Yup. Seems to me the mom was making sure she had a settlement, recorded, and content. People suck. Not the asshole. This has absolutely nothing to do with the girl and her apology. The neighbor wants to do some performative parenting for social media.
Am I the asshole requiring BIL family to vacate the primary bedroom when my family visits our vacation house? My 36F parents and I own a property in a Tier 1 Asian city that has been in our family for now 3 generations. My parents were considering selling it a while back, but I bought them out. Though I paid lower than market price, my parents were happy with the deal and they still having a place to stay when they go back. Usually the property is rented out, but my husband's younger brother fell on hard times and we offered to let them temporarily stay at the property rent-free so they can save up. They've been there for the past 2 years. Whenever we've gone back to visit, usually once a year for 2 weeks, I've had to specifically requested that they temporarily vacate the primary bedroom. They hemmed and hawed the first time until my husband, 38M, reminded them that we were doing them a favor. This year we are not going back, but my parents are. I gave them a half-year heads up on the dates my parents were going, all seemed fine. Last week, I got a call from my parents saying they were staying in an hotel. Apparently they arrived and my BIL and SIL said they were hosting friends and the only space available was the home office with a pull-out couch. My parents are in their 70s and did not want to fight them after a long flight and also did not want to antagonize my relationship with my IL, so decided to move to a hotel. I was furious. Typing this, I am still furious. I told my husband that he should be the one to handle this because no one would like the way I handle it. My husband basically told his brother that he's done and he needed to move out immediately. My BIL/SIL texted me and left me voice notes calling me a bunch of names. ILs have called me begging me to reconsider and to give them grace. Frankly, I don't really care what happens to BIL and SIL anymore. I haven't responded to any messages and am just letting my husband handle it. Comments.
Not the asshole, but you need to go there to assess damage or avoid damage. Then change the locks and ensure there are cameras everywhere. Yeah, with this attitude, there is a good chance they will do damage before they leave. In OP's shoes, I'd offer them money if the place is in good condition when they leave it, sort of returning their rental non-deposit winking face. It may sound crazy, but you know they are not going to expect any consequences for damage they may do. Many years ago in a Latin American country, my family moved into a rental where the previous tenant had taken the hot water heater, the back door, replaced a solid wood door with a cheap hollow door, and the bathroom cabinet when he moved out. People are weird. You're a more generous person than I am if you'd be prepared to offer money to these ungrateful leeches. I'd prefer to go with the camera and legal action option than to reward their selfishness. It may not provide a better outcome, but I would simmer for eternity knowing I'd rewarded and encourage their behavior. It is a family matter. Opie says she let them live there for 2 years out of filial piety. I assume she means that her husband's parents asked her to give grace to their younger son and his wife, allowing them to live rent-free in her rental property. Even they damaged the property maliciously, she and her husband may not feel that they can sue. His parents would certainly be upset. Offering BIL a reward for not trashing the house may be cheaper than paying for repairs and easier than suing someone who won't have money to pay for those repairs. Hopefully, it won't be necessary. Not the asshole. How dare they host friends when they knew that your parents were coming, and that you, the owners of the house, expected your parents to be accommodated. Your husband was right to tell them to move out. They deserve no grace. They think that they're so smart for hosting their friends exactly at the same time OP's parents are coming. It's so blatantly obvious. As for the ILs begging for consideration, they can give grace by taking the bill and his family in. Especially since BIL/SIL have had 2 years of free rent in their savings account.
Am I the asshole for refusing to attend my childhood best friend's destination wedding after they uninvited my wife? My best friend from childhood is getting married. He and his fiancée have been together for about 7 years and planned a destination wedding. They wanted a smaller, more intimate wedding and decided to combine the bachelor and bachelorette party into a week-long trip. About a year ago, I was told about the wedding and was asked to attend. I was specifically told that both my wife and I were invited. The only thing we would need to pay for was our airfare. Everything else would be covered. Over the last year, there were multiple conversations confirming that both my wife and I would be attending. Based on that, we requested and received PTO from work, bought plane tickets, and started preparing for the trip. We bought clothes and other things we would need for a week-long destination wedding. About a month and a half before the wedding, my friend told me there was no longer enough space for my wife. Apparently, she had been cut from the guest list and there was only room for me. He also mentioned that numerous other guests were upset. Some people had to pay for their own accommodations elsewhere if they want to attend after previously being told they would be covered, and some guests had their invitations revoked entirely because they were over capacity. I was honestly shocked. I told him that if my wife couldn't attend, then I wouldn't be attending either. I asked him what happened and why the situation occurred. I wanted an honest explanation. His response was basically that they didn't realize they had a capacity issue until invitations were sent out. I asked how that could happen if they already knew the venue capacity beforehand. He refused to answer directly and kept saying that this wasn't about the guests because it's their wedding. I told him that while it is absolutely their wedding and their choice, they had set clear expectations a year in advance and repeatedly confirmed those expectations. Now, after people had spent money, used PTO, and made plans, they were changing things and expecting everyone to be okay with it. He and his fiancée have taken no responsibility for the situation and instead blamed the guests for overreacting. He also told me that I was the only one making a big deal about not being able to bring my wife. To be clear, I never demanded that they re-invite her. I simply told him that if my wife wasn't welcome, I wouldn't be attending either. Am I the asshole for being angry about this and refusing to go to the wedding? Comments.
I would not attend. I would go on a holiday with my wife, use the tickets, but I wouldn't be attending. Then they can give your seat to someone else. See, you are assisting them, not the asshole. Right. Go anyway if it is someplace you want to go, or change ticks and go have fun. Send pics. Agree completely, we need lots of awesome pics. NGL, the petty side of me would want to find out who else is upset by this, and arrange a big trip with a bunch of them. Already have the PTO and clothes for the vacation, might as well make the most of it. Absolutely. Except I don't really know any of those people, and posting this on Reddit is already petty as it is. I'm sure there are plenty of others who are extremely upset by the current outcome. He had complained about it to me before we got into the argument. Plenty of long-term relationships destroyed, especially on his fiancée's side. You have the time off, have the plane tickets, book accommodation, have a fun holiday together, don't bother with the wedding. You could send a wedding card saying thanks for holiday destination suggestion, you are having a great time with your wife, hope the wedding goes okay. So for over a year, they kept you and other guests presumably buy tickets, outfits, gifts and accommodation, and decided to disinvite them a month before the actual wedding? That's as terrible, you can't treat people like that, and don't expect pushback. I also think your friend is lying about other people not making this an issue. Not the asshole.
Am I the asshole for refusing to go for a full week on my wife's family vacation after we had agreed not to repeat it? For years, my wife, our 2 kids, and I went to the same beach town for a week with part of my wife's family, her brother, SIL, their kids, and her mom. We originally did this because another sibling's family lived there, so it was a chance for all the cousins to be together. The issue is that the trip became extremely repetitive and rigid. Same beach, same street, same basic schedule, same restaurant/meals on the same days, strict quiet times/bedtimes, very little flexibility. My wife's family is very routine-driven and frugal. My family is structured too, but on vacation we like variety, activities, and some flexibility. When the other siblings' families still lived there, there was more balance. Once they stopped going, it became just us and the routine-driven side. The last couple years were miserable. The houses got smaller while the kids got bigger, the routine became more rigid, our kids were bored and stir-crazy, and I ended up trying to take them out to do things just to break up the week. That caused tension because I was going outside the plan. My wife was also stressed and admitted afterward that the trip was no longer enjoyable. After the last trip, my wife and I had a long conversation and agreed we would not do that same vacation again. We talked about trying something different, mountains, lake, different beach, really anything else. Recently, my wife handed me her phone and asked which vacation house was nicer. It was the same beach, same street, basically the same exact trip again. I was angry because I thought we had already agreed this was done. Her explanation is that her mom said this location is sentimental to her and that she wanted all the grandkids together there. Her brother's family agreed immediately. My wife says it was this or nothing, so she chose this because getting grandma and the grandkids together was important to her. She has already fully committed herself and our kids to going for the full week, and she assumed I would eventually just agree and go too. My issue is that I feel like her mom and brother made the decision, my wife accepted it, and I was informed after the fact. I told her I felt betrayed and isolated because we had already agreed as a couple not to repeat this trip. She keeps circling back to, this is important to me, why won't you just do it for me? We've been fighting for a solid week about it, so I offered a compromise. I said that because it's become so important to her, I'd come for the last 2 nights. She has committed herself and the kids for the full week. Now she says that since she knows I don't want to be there, I've ruined it, and asks why I have to act like this. She has also brought it up around the kids, so now they know there is conflict. I am not trying to stop the kids from seeing their grandmother. I am not saying no to them going. I am saying no to spending a full week of my vacation time repeating the exact trip we already agreed was bad for our family. Comments.
Not the asshole. But I'd probably just go and make plans with my kids to do whatever you want, and who cares what anyone else thinks. Find stuff that you haven't done before, go places you haven't gone before, and if her family has an issue with it, say it's your vacation too, and you and the kids are going to have fun. Maybe if they realize that you aren't just going to be a pushover and do what they want, they either one won't push as much for you to go, or they'll just let it go. Make memories with your kids. Smiley face, screw everyone else LOL. If you tell me the beach, I'll fucking look for things for you and the kids to do. I'm so mad on your behalf. Find the most fun outdoor activities that will break the rigid, extremely repetitive routine of your family. It will drive your in-laws nuts while you get to enjoy this trip with your kids. Win-win situation for you. See if next time they invite your family again. Just to add on this, I'd look for something big ticket if you can afford it. Charter a fishing boat, an amusement park an hour or 2 away, a zip lining or parasailing experience. Something to really get the point across that you're not going to allow your kids or your vacation to get stuck in a rut. Good luck. This is the answer. Don't abandon the kids to being miserable while you're off not being miserable. Take them and do new different stuff with them. If someone objects because you're not following the plan, or whatever, just tell them you're following your plan, and no one's stopping them from following theirs. If you want, get in a dig that you wouldn't dream about making a plan for how other people should spend their time, because that's not respectful. Why did you let me down? Why did you lie? Why do you prioritize your mother and brother over your husband? You're disrespectful, and clearly our marriage isn't something you care too much about. Don't ask me why I won't give in to you, your brother and mother. Ask yourself why you put me in this position. Your mother's vacation wants have come first for too many years. I am entitled to have my wife keep her promise to me without being demonized. I wouldn't go at all. I feel guilty, and I didn't do anything wrong. How about you go and stop letting them dictate the plan? You want to take the kids somewhere, take them, and let them complain.
Thanks for watching my video. Please like it and subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories.